שיר המעלה סלח ונוסוס, יסינה יויש, ובשמיים מנחין הבודם, יד הדנים, כדי שיפחו ליד דיברתו. כננו אלעד אלוהינו עד שיכוננו חוננו עד נכוננו קרב סנבוז, הבשר בולה נפשנו לגב שננים, הבוז דיגי יוינים. We said yesterday the counting, so we're not counting the pennies that we're putting in. We're not counting the amount that we're putting in. As long as we're putting in tzedakah, whatever the amount is the mitzvah. So, let's focus a little bit further on the whole concept of counting Jews. Do you have any idea how many Jews there are in the world? They say 13 million, maybe 14 million. There are probably many more, but they just don't even know they're Jewish. How many people born from Jewish mothers that they themselves don't know that their mothers or their grandmothers were Jewish? We meet those constantly. But in general, we have the number that we say between 13 and 14 million. How many Jews of the same concept were there before the World War? Apparently it was between 19 and 20 million. 6 million were unfortunately murdered during the Holocaust. So after the Holocaust, we were down to 13 million. We're still at the same number. What's happening? Shouldn't there be natural growth? Every generation a few more? Why are we still at 13 million? Unfortunately, in the words of Rabbi Goldman, success, affluence, and lifestyles that encourage sophisticated selfishness, and instead of spending money on kids, many prefer to enjoy themselves. Statistically, I think we are at 1.8 children per Jewish family. That's average. That doesn't take into, I guess it doesn't take into consideration the Hasidic, very religious people. That average is 8 to 10 children. But according to this rate, we aren't even replacing ourselves. And then let's not forget assimilation, intermarriage. So although our strength is not in numbers, as the Torah says, the God states, "Ki lo mirubchem." I don't love you because you're many. In fact, "Ki atem ha'ma'at mikol ha'amim." You will always be a minority. But it doesn't mean that we should make it really so few. So God is counting, as we spoke yesterday, the Jewish people to show how precious we are to Him. So if God appreciates every single Jew, how much more should we see to it and appreciate and encourage another Jew and another Jew? In the 1950s, when the Rebbe started his leadership, he initiated the whole concept of shluchim, shluchais, outreach. Although the word outreach is not what the Rebbe likes, because outreach means there is somebody outside, and everybody belongs inside. But reaching to. And then the Rebbe started sending young rabbis and rebbetzins, young shluchim, to places far away, geographically and spiritually. Even still in the 60s and the 70s, most Jewish movements laughed and scoffed at the idea. They ridiculed the notion of sending young religious couple to somewhere like UCLA, California. And the statement was, they'll eat them for breakfast. No chance of changing anything. Probably they themselves won't stay religious. But who laughs last, laughs best. And that's a laughter of rejoicing, of simcha. Why? Because today, thank God, there's over 5,000 Chabad centers around the world. And today, every Jewish organization and movement is into reaching to other Jewish people, which is, by the way, the best compliment. Being copied is the best compliment. And as the Rebbe said many times, it's not my copyright. That's a mitzvah of Avas Yisrael, loving your fellow Jew, that every Jew has this responsibility to reach and inform and encourage every other Jew. But for that matter, you don't have to be an official rabbi or rebbetzin. Anyone can invite someone to a Shabbos table. Anyone can invite a colleague at work to put on tefillin. Anyone could have a few candles in a box ready to share with another Jewish person. That's what God says, counting. Everyone is important. And we all have the responsibility to do that counting. We all have the responsibility to make sure that everybody is accounted for. And this is how, altogether, we will finally come to Mashiach. Not because of the big numbers, but because every single one is present. So Eibishter today